Hi world, it's the 1st of June 2025. My apologies for not posting recently. I've really not been well at all. Not going to go into too many details, no point. On the bounce back now, just slowly. So, June. June is taken up by two or three big astrological events which seem to be hogging the vast majority of what's going on. And I am going to need to focus on the chart of one particular individual, even though I don't like talking about them. There's a lot of small stuff going on. There's a lot of big stuff going on. A month ago, Neptune changed sign. A week ago, Saturn changed sign. 5 weeks' time, Uranus changes sign. Venus is going to change sign on the 6th of June. Mercury's going to change sign on the 8th of June. Jupiter is going to change sign on the 9th of June. Mars is going to change sign on the 17th of June. And oh yeah, it's Northern Hemisphere summer solstice, when the sun changes sign. And that will be on the 21st of June at 4:42 a.m. UK time. Lots of planets: Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. They're all changing sign. Pluto changed sign last year. So straight away, it is an unsteady, not unstable, but unsteady month, because there's so many new influences coming in. There's so much new ground being broken, so much new turf being laid, that it's really difficult to get a perspective on what the long-term outcome's going to be. But there's a couple of really big aspects happening during June. First of all, it's focused around the start of the second week of June. Mercury will conjunct Jupiter around 9 p.m. UK time on the 8th of June. Mercury will then immediately move into Cancer, followed less than 24 hours later by Jupiter on the 9th of June. Also on the 9th of June, Mercury will square Saturn and Neptune from 0 degrees of Cancer to 0 degrees and 1 degree of Aries. And then Jupiter will square Saturn and Neptune on the 15th and 19th of June respectively. So over the period of the 8th to the 19th of June, we've got the Jupiter square Saturn Neptune. Jupiter and Saturn are equal and opposite in astrological lore. Saturn constricts, restricts, limits, brings structure, boundaries, organisation. Jupiter expands, grows, doesn't really do boundaries. Saturn, to an extent, its gas is a bit more frozen than Jupiter's. It's more solid. It's got rings around it. Jupiter's gas billows out, giving out 3 times as much heat and light from the sun as it takes in. You can't land on Jupiter. It's got no substance. When you find positive aspects from Jupiter to Saturn in a birth chart, the individual's going to be a good business person, sensible with money, and knows when to take astute chances. When you find Jupiter-Saturn square or opposition, then these individuals can sometimes be prone to occasional moments of randomness where they just take chances that don't work. Jupiter square Saturn can bring... It's all very restrictive in that Saturn's going to stop Jupiter from overstretching, whereas Jupiter's going to really expand and push Saturn's boundaries. When you apply this to the financial markets, it's pretty clear to me that there's going to be a bit of an economic storm over the coming month, and particularly in the middle couple of weeks of June. And there's going to be a lot of hype and spin, and there's going to be a lot of variation in the markets. Stocks and shares are going to go up and down, as will crypto. There's going to be huge variations. Fortunes will be lost and a few fortunes will be made. The sensible, by which I mean those who are astrologically knowledgeable, will not speculate at this time. Especially as Jupiter isn't only squaring Saturn, it's squaring Neptune as well. Because that's going to be all hype and spin. There's going to be lots of promises. This can happen, that can happen. Full storms, gossamer, fake, Hollywood, glamour, enchantment, seduction, big time. I consider this to be one of the most, if not the most, risky time of the entire Saturn-Neptune conjunction. There's going to be so much hot air. Don't buy into the hype and spin. During this period, there's also going to be the full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th of June. The 11th of June is within 24 hours of Donald Trump's birthday. Excuse me. His sun is at 20 degrees of Gemini, and his moon is at 21 degrees of Sagittarius, or something like that. The full moon is at 20 degrees of Sagittarius, opposite his sun on his moon. And shortly after the full moon, on the 11th of June, Mars in the sky at 28 to 29 degrees of Leo, where Donald Trump's ascendant is, will square Uranus at 28 to 29 degrees of Taurus. A Mars-Uranus square is always volatile, unpredictable, electrical. So in the space of half a week, there's a full moon opposite Trump's sun and on his moon, and Mars is on his ascendant, Uranus being square his ascendant. I cannot help but assume that regardless of whether you're a fan or not, we're going to see Donald Trump sort of really expand and contract. Overblown, undercut. There's going to be a lot of extremes coming from him and taking him out of the equation. With a full moon like that and a Mars-Uranus square, just as Jupiter is squaring Saturn and Neptune, a number of people are going to fall on their sword. A number of people are going to be not taken out, but stepping aside from the limelight. Now, we've had a time earlier this year, we had the big lineup in Pisces at the end of March through to the beginning of May. But that was like wading through treacle. That was foggy and cloudy. It was murky. It was like bottom dwellers. We were at the bottom of the deep sea and no one could see anything. It was really confusing and messy. This is different. This is much more expansive and contractive. This is sudden. And the beauty of this one is it's only going to be 2 weeks. By solstice, this is over. This is the second of 4 periods this year, which are sort of really like electrocardiograph shocks to the system in preparation for what's coming in February with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. The remaining 2 in the beginning of August, second week of August and the third week of September are much more shorter, sharper, incisive. This is still a bit overblown. So yeah, there's lots of planets changing signs, and there's a big, big square in the sky. From to 3 of the 5 outer planets are going to be knocking the hell out of each other. There's a couple of nice ones, you know. Mars is going to be sextiling Jupiter. Nice enough. There'll be a bit of optimism. Mercury's going to whiz through Cancer. It'll be in Leo by the end of the month. That's nice enough too. Be careful this month. Not because we're all at individual risk or danger, but because speculation, whether it's financial or gossip, will be rife. And there's no point in letting yourself get swept along by the wave of BS, because it is all hype and spin. Overinflated, driven by greed and the desire for control and power. And if there's one thing that all these planets changing sign, both short term this month and large scale, because Uranus is changing sign next month, it's that the old ways are coming to an end. And the future's dawning where the old systems of power and control aren't going to be working anymore. It's a new world. And we're being dragged into it either willingly or kicking and screaming. And we're all going to look back at the end of June and go, what a ride that was. But that's why I'm appealing to what I call the sensible. The sense-able. Able to sense. And here I include the astrological community, the students, the practitioners, the knowledgeable. Don't get caught up in it. It's going to be drama, but not crisis. It will seem like crisis, but it'll actually just be overblown drama. Get your popcorn out and step back and just don't get caught up in the swell of rhetoric. Do yourself and the world a favour. Catch you later. Enjoy the ride. Bye.